Well, I'm hoping this here sounding pretty good, but I got just a quick update here. We got they're tricking us. It's I don't know why, but they're tricking us because you got a bunch of people thinking that new shot coming out and then it's coming out soon. Then that is not gonna. They don't want to take it. I think they're saving it all for themselves. Probably they probably take two or three of them themselves. They convinced us that there was something wrong with it, and we buying into all that, just because of all the lawsuits and people that died in Africa, they say, and that, who knows what's true, because they can only do so many of them, and they're going to get them first. I bet you that if people was worried about it, what they would do is you take some like Fauci and all those bull boys, they'd line up and if they'd have thought about it, we'd go all in like a big football stadium and something, and then we just draw numbers and they take the first shot. So they just solve everything. All the leaders, all these mayors, just have them, let them. I know they're trying to hog them, but what that'd do is that would stop this doubt that these people have that there's something wrong with it, because that would just eliminate it. We just draw numbers. Well, Trump, he'd do it. They just have to. That's what really that we should do, and then that'll satisfy everybody's mind. Fauci in line, Bill Gates, have him up there first in line, and we just draw the number. Somebody figured out, we can figure it out that somebody draw the number, let him be the first line, get a shot every time. I mean, no matter what version comes out, they say we need two or three of them, and they're going to get them all if we don't get ourselves, figured out that what they're doing is tricking us, and they use this stuff like making us believe that these chemtrails caused everybody to lose their memories, and didn't remember that all the other things that might have happened that made people not trust the government, and that's what they're saying. They're saying that that's what they used, and nobody can remember anything anymore. And they're just piling all these things up there so they can get the jab, and these doubters are out the door. I don't know that they're why they don't let them get, but they're I'm not. They can't trick me this time. Trick me before a time or two. With some things, but I think they're just trying to hog it all for themselves. And I'd solve it, once and for all. And then that way we'd be sure that through random selection and choice that the mayor of Chicago and Cuomo and Trump and both sides out, Biden, have him, they're like top of the line on down Nancy Pelosi up there getting her jab from we pick. And if everything's fine, then we stop these doubters, and everybody can share and share like they don't. That way, they don't get it first. Yeah, They're just tricking us again. I think they're tricking us because the ones that they want to keep healthy are the ones that are smarter and already figured out that we need to trust our government, not to go through all this. They tell us all kind of stuff about how there was Gulf of Tonkin War and it was a fake, and uh, Colin Powell said there was a uh, mass destruction weapons in Iraq, and uh, they uh, they tell us that they even cover the stories that they give these chemtrailers so that we wouldn't remember that stuff. Well, it wasn't even a lie in the first place. There was turned out they had mustard gas, all kinds of stuff over there they found, and you just never know. Because we have to. Why would all of a sudden everybody stop trusting their government? So they come up with these stories about well, it's only 99.9% of the people that ever die from having that. Why not just let it go and get a herd immunity? And like people say, well, they're just using it for so they can get control of the financial industry or something like that. And what they're doing is they're just keeping all of it for themselves. I mean, at first, and I guess it's a way to eliminate the doubters. I don't. As a guess, because you gotta trust me. And they're and they're tricking us. They're telling us that people always worried about all the stories that are true that coming out. 911. That just because there wasn't any plane left in that hole that we hit right in that irrigation ditch or mining ditch and nothing left. Well, of course not. It's a big old plane and it could just bury itself in the ground. Pennsylvania's soft dirt. Look at how close to the top of the ground the oil is. That's probably So then they're all kind of they just throw this stuff. I don't know who's dreaming all this stuff up. I mean, of course that was true. What you couldn't see, there wasn't anything of that clothing or anything, and it was they just consumed it. But that's well, they showed it to us. Why would it be a lie? Well, oh man, if they were going to cover it up, and there wasn't any plane left, if there wasn't anything left at all, not a smidgen of clothes or nothing, they wouldn't have shown it to us. And it was smoking. Did you see it smoking? Smoking more than any, these smoke bombs. Smoking like two or three of them had to be in there. Who's going to be carrying around smoke bombs with them? So and then they went over and showed. So, and then you just can't believe all these stories, because what's going to happen is they're going to end up getting jab, and none of us that were doubters and researchers and stuff. We get that stuff and we'd be dead, because everybody's knows somebody that's dead with it, I'm sure. Yeah, and then they come up with this, but that if we didn't go along with it, that's what I heard too. So many stories, these people, I don't know what, they should have a Hollywood movie about these stories they dream of. What was the latest one? If that 5G wasn't everywhere it was turned on, and that's where all the people were dying, like in Chicago, and You know, the government's not going to be doing something like that. Who's going to pay the taxes? Those people can't do anything else except be mayors and stuff. They couldn't. It would be crazy to get rid of us and save the few. Because I don't know. Yeah, they're saying they're they're people just saying they're crazy. Well, those are our leaders, folks. They got voted. They got voted in office. So it might be a little doubt, but that's probably all show too. Again, you just it's endless. The next thing you know, they'll be telling us that we don't need it. That if you don't even have to take it. Now, why are they doing that? So they get it off. Yep. You get you can't let them outsmart you, and it's just they're just trying to take care of their own, and in a way you can't blame them because if they thought that they didn't need certain people, well, then that would be one thing, but then they take care of their own. But that's not really what they would do because we voted them in, and they're meant to be there. Some of them been there forever. That's just exactly. They tell, and it's a good job, and they do. It's a stressful job. I know it is. It's got to be. How do they have time? They had to some of them go in dirt poor even and come out billionaires. So these are smart people. You need to understand that there's a whole lot smarter people than Bubba and I around because we don't seem to be able to make our own decisions about anything. We would know if they wanted to, if all went well, and they wanted to force a shot on somebody. What if we would just go right along with it? Because if I don't, that's what they want. If they take it, that's fine. Then they would say, well, you don't have to take it either. That's just the way it would be. So there ain't nobody forcing anything on anything. If that was the case, I think they're just, they can only produce so much, and it's got to be stored at minus 30 degrees. So something like that has got you can only keep so much of that, and that's something that I don't. It's hard to find something like that to put in your body. Minus 30 degrees stored at. That's bound to be doing something. So bound to be doing everything. Yeah, and there can't be that many of them. How many minus 30 degree freezers around? That's a low. So there can't be that many of them. I got these pictures on TV with it showing, zip, 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 zipping out there, but I don't think that's true. I think it's just, like those canned photos, and they probably don't have that many, and that's why they're telling folks that made kind of that would in the past. The question is, till I realized this is the government. Why they wouldn't dare? They're try to take care of their own nation. It would be like the United Nations or something taking over. Then they might not care, but maybe. But this is the United States. But we have a constitution that taking care of everything. It's most time, but we don't need it anyway because the government's taking because all they help everything. When they did do something wrong, like Clinton apologized for it. When nowadays you hear these stories of what they get. Well, the people, it's the same thing. What they're doing, they tricking there so we don't get the shot because put doubt in their mind, stuff like that. It probably never even happened. And they just did that. Been thinking about this all along so that they could get the shot. They know this sickness is coming. They knew it was coming. They knew it was coming 2 or 3 months before it ever even existed. And they called it the same thing. So they were practicing it coming, and you could see it. They had the whole thing, and they told everybody there's going to be these doubters and just cut them off the internet. And, well, I think that's just a trick so that we would, these censoring little by little. But there's still some like this should come out and they'll hear that. But they just censored little by little, so that nobody would notice if they did it to cover everybody. That's what they said. Well, if they cut everybody off at once, that somebody'd notice and not. They would cut that frog in the frying pan theory deal, where you put them in the hot water, cold water, and turn on slowly cook them, that he won't jump out, and then you got some frog legs for you for dinner. But they're pretty good, them frog legs. It's like chicken, like seagull and eagle. That's like chicken too, before they made it illegal to eat it. But they told me about it. I don't know anything. So we're just gonna keep on tracking us because they just might be tricking us and saving it all for themselves. Yeah, and you guys are smart enough to know that if there's anybody that doubted, what you could do is put them in, have that drawing. See, nobody gonna take no shot from nobody except that old boy over in London. He's gonna be first, and we're gonna pick it, and then everybody be happy. Over here, Billy Bob Gates, you can tell his sincerity is. He's so calm when he talks to people, and he tries to explain very carefully, and they him and Manlin look at each other so sincerely, telling each other that, well, we're trying to do the best we can. My goodness, they don't even have to. People doubt everything that just because they have a bunch of lawsuits from I heard from killing people, but that's just a hearsay. See, from and maybe it's they're making up stuff. What? But then people tell you that, well, like they relate that Clinton apologized for putting. I might explain that is back in the 50s or 60s, they gave a bunch of black people syphilis. That's who they said they did. And then Bill Clinton apologized for it. They're probably all dead now anyway, so nobody knows the difference. Right? But he did apologize. So now they're coming up with this deal here that we shouldn't trust them because of stuff like that. Well, that was just a one-time deal. You never run across anything. They make up others like like they even said the new Pearl Harbor was going to be bombed. Man, people just go to no ends to try to make up stories, don't they? So if we just and then they come along and say, well, they give us all this chemtrail in the sky, they won't even remember it anyway. Well, that's another story too. Those are those condensation trails. Yeah. When they get way up there, just like a glass, and then it like fog, just disappears quick sometimes. But we're way up there, so they're not always straight with the facts. I think because when it's way up there like that, they probably linger a lot longer, and there wasn't nothing in them that ruins people's memories, much. Used to be, or well, maybe, but there wasn't anyone in there anyway. It's all a big story. So what they just keep coming up with a bombarding next, and I don't know if I can think of all of them, but because they're endless. And maybe the chemtrail. The story I heard was they're making up to make us not believe anything. Yeah, no kidding. I guess that's how they're going to do it and get it all for themselves. So I just figured it out, and I was going to warn you guys that I don't know why they're tricking us. They're tricking I guess they because they even said that the CIA made up the term conspiracy theorists when people was getting on to them on something, and then the rest of the civilization used it and pointed at them, and and they said that they studied human nature and socialization since way back, and even they said they followed the religious, zealot from way back of it, using all kind of magic and stuff to control populations. And why would they do that? See, you just get so carried away that you don't help yourself. So if you get up there, try to get it first in line. But yes, really, I guess if you're worried about it, what I think they should do is force this issue with all the leaders taking it first, and then those of you that haven't woke up to the fact that everything's safe, then let's do that. That would be, I don't know why they haven't thought of it, because I don't know why. Because I guess what they trust. They have no reason to not trust. But as much as they care for everybody, if you mentioned it, say, look, there's these people out here that don't believe in this, and what they'd like to do is put all the leaders in the stadium, and we're going to draw numbers, and you take it first to prove it. Well, they jump on it because these are our statesman leaders that Clinton has ended all doubt of any testing on people that they were saying just because the black people were dying of it, especially. And then somebody else said, well, it's because they were in the cities where they could turn on that one above 4G thing. They were making up stories about how it at 60 hertz is like a microwave. And then they showed people, and they showed people in Wuhan when they first went out, just died. Boom. Somebody that died from it. Well, that was because the disease was fresh, and it hadn't gone through so many people, and it got weaker and weaker and weaker. Where only the really really sick or go ahead and die. They're about to die anyway. That's so we need it because it could get fresh again. You can, they told us there's going to be a second wave, but it's going to be fresher. And then somebody said, well, if they don't believe it, that's what they were saying. If they don't believe it, they're going to turn on that one above 4G and volume and zap a bunch of people like New York City, where it's already set up, and make believers out of them. They'll believe it this time. That's what they were saying. But gosh, these naysayers stop at nothing. But that would prove it. The government loves everyone, even the ones that don't vote for them, that have a vote, that they care about them too. If we had that stadium deal, tell you what, if we had that stadium deal, I bet you the most doubting Thomas would be in there, and if all the leaders, George Soros to every one of them, were the first in line to take the shot from whatever we randomly chose, the most doubting person would probably take it, I bet. So and I guess they're just busy. I can imagine how busy they are. It's got to be just busy because they pumped that thing out so fast they had to force crunch time into bottle or something. Time in a bottle. And they're they're smart. They're smart. They can do that stuff. And we're sitting there and we doubt. And they said the time trials have been developed in time trials, and something about you never know if it sterilizes the. So they're all coming that make these stories up, and they make doubting people. But if we do that stadium thing, it'd be done. Doubters to be done, I guarantee you. I know. But I'm gonna try to get be the first in line because they ain't gonna get it all from us. I'll try to get 2 or 3 of them shots because they're gonna be they're gonna be giving them to all the old people first. I hope they get them before that big wave comes in. They already told us it's coming, and they probably know because just like they practice it out of the blue, our leaders just like they practice it just out of the blue and said it was coming, and then there it was. And look how devastating it was. Well, could have been. If they hadn't practiced it, yeah, that's what. Yeah, see, that's you can't have a little tangent out there. If they hadn't practiced that and made up the same thing that happened, uh, and news media and everything, why we'd have never got through it like we did. And then they try to say, well, even if it was like that, the one I was talking about before, that's the Spanish flu in 1918, whatever it was, killed everybody knew somebody was dead then. Everybody, well, most they just about rubbed out the whole planet. And it's been on Bill's mind, I'm sure, ever since. He saw it coming. He said, "Well, I made all this money on the viruses on the computer. Somebody putting them in there." Uh, I mean, he made the money on the computers, and then somebody virused his computers. Yeah, that he wanted to do something good for the earth, and it zeroed right in on giving shots to save Africa, and then us. We didn't need it so bad, but and then they try to say, well, this, and then you got people that just because his dad was on Planned Parenthood and run it, they want to eliminate the spots of society, which is I don't know who they are, but we can find out. But that's what they say. Now, does Bill look like he? Doesn't he look like a nice gentleman that wants to just save you? And that you could probably just go up and give him a big old bear hug, and he'd give you $1,000,000. Yeah, that's what he'd do. But he decided that he would help uh, by vaccines, and because you have to save them first. They don't want to worry about getting energy or nothing like that. They got to get them so they don't die. Uh, we got to save their life because we ain't seeing it coming. And then that's what I said. They saw it coming. They practiced it, and then boom, there it was. So they probably practice it again now, and they said that. They said that. Well, if anybody talks about it not being real, they're going to shut them off the internet, and well, you can't blame them. But they had to do it slow so that everybody got behind them. But their good intentions can sometimes be misconstrued, and we wouldn't have faith, but these people keep making up these stories, and then that just puts more doubt in everybody's mind. But we figured it out. So, I mean, I don't know why they wanted to get all of it for themselves first. So sure, we wouldn't have been in too big a hurry. We'd have been shared. We would have shared. I think they just, knew how much there was, and they probably, these people that weren't on the side of the government and believe in everything they said, well, we'll give them a shot, but they're gonna not get it first, like all of our constituents are. So in a way, you can't blame them because, heck, I'd probably do the same thing, wouldn't you? Maybe. I mean, Wonder how they are going to divvy that up. Oh, yeah, the old people first. Ones that are most likely to get sick and die from this next wave coming in. What wave is this? Are we in the second or the third? Yeah. And then I get these doctors on there saying, well, it doesn't really mutate that fast to be a second or third wave. Where'd they get that? Where'd they drag these people up out of the bar? You're a doctor. Put down your glass and come. Hey, we got something you got to tell people. Yeah, and I'll give you another drink later. That's probably what, those people look like, probably come on there, they put on their white uniform and whatever, and some of them don't even, but you can tell. They want that drink pretty bad, probably, and they just straighten themselves up and say what they're saying, boy. It's probably what just some drunk they got off there and making up these stories that that virus couldn't mutate that fast anyway, and that well, just endless. They just keep coming up with something all the time again. Something about they keep telling you it's scored at 30 degrees minus Fahrenheit, so that cause it's got the nanobots in it that's going to take over your RNA and DNA, and then RNA is stuff that moves the DNA. I found that out because they had a bunch of studies of when Monsanto, which is a company like this, was making they kept getting their seeds over in our seeds when you couldn't stop them, and they said, well, you're using our. They were pretty crooked. They got in trouble for that. That's the way it is. See, they're not part of the government, and you couldn't trust them. And they put this GMO and genetically modified stuff in there, and nothing else to grow and live around it. And pretty soon, that was their seeds spread to our seeds, and they said, well, that's ours. We have a patent on it, kind of like the patent they got on all these diseases, so they could study them and protect us, and that's what they're doing. See. And gosh, I might have said this before. They got 300-400 movies out, like of people dying in the pandemic and scary. Well, they're saving you. They did. The government didn't do that, but there's the smarter people than you. They know it's coming. You have to figure out. You have to understand. It's just that we have to have a little humility here. We know that we can't figure out anything on our own. That everything we've got practically has come about, like Obama said. You didn't make that company into, that's your hero. That's a thinker. That if you just had a little humility and realize you can't be voting, and with knowing anything of your conscience, that just ask them, because that's why they're elected. And they do a heck of a job. Even though, they've been in there 20 years, some of them, that tells you how good a job they're doing. And so you got to understand, we can't let them trick us. We got to get first in line for the shot. Because I know we don't want all these old boys that have a sincere heart and trying to save people to not get what they need, and be getting the jab too. So we can't just let them have it all. I know that all the good-hearted people just believe in what they're saying, and when they believe that that the CIA and FBI are, they believe they're not honest, and that they're corrupted, and that they would do anything for power. They believe it, but then they're trying to save us from it. So they're good old boys. They're good people. But they believe that stuff. So, that's the only thing to do. Have the stadium drawing. It sounds really silly, but what else? What else we got to do? Everybody worried about going back to work. Everybody going about what else we got to do? What else we got to prove? That would do. That would solve it. You know what? I'll bet you it don't ever happen because too much common sense involved with it. Oh, you don't need to do that. Well, we got to do that because we can help these doubters here too. They got to, they're probably saying that because they don't care whether you get sick because you're still good-hearted. You were trying to find reasons behind what. So we got them busted. They're busted, wide open. They want the shot first. They want all the shots for themselves first. And the older people first too, because they got all of them all the senators and all that. The older in the hill, they want it first. So I'm sure they're getting theirs first. But if they were not, and we would wonder why. But if we had a drawing, then they had to get it. So yeah, it's a shame. I've got one good idea my whole life, and it probably won't go nowhere. Just fester up in me and go, shit, we should have done that. But that's the way it goes. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow or sooner if we got any breaking news here, out here in the hinterlands. Because I'm sleepy anyway. Okay. I usually sleep by the time I get time around to make these things. And I'm going to try to hang up if I can figure out how to hang this thing up.